What's like what Mike else say? Walk around with corduroy pants, don't have a whole hot dog in your pocket.
Leave me alone. Have you ever seen Mike else do it?
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Oh my God, corduroy pants. Huh?
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Got a fully dressed hot dog in your pocket.
Bruh, that boy. Is it Ricky Smiley that does that shit?
No,
What?
Mike Epps.
Leave me alone. Oh,
Mike
that
Epps.
was Mike Epps, yeah.
Yeah, Reed Smiley got a little dare.
Well, welcome
Welcome.
once again. We're back here. Shout out to PADYS BISTRO. It's the 3 Black Mics. Pause. I got that shit. First take.
Like in New York.
I'm feeling great today. Glad we're back again to fellowship and share with you all. Guys, remember to comment, like, share, subscribe, comment in the comment section. That's what it's there for. Let's start some conversation. I heard about a couple of you guys through the grapevine trying to get at me for the words that I said last week. Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. But I was glad to be here again. How was the week? How was the week for you guys?
Oh, the week's been cool for me. You know, been real cool. You feel?
Tell us how.
Elaborate. The week been cool. You know, coaching going good. Things starting to pick up. You know, my favorite season coming. I'm more of a fall guy.
Ooh.
Summertime cool, but I'm more of a fall person. You know.
Get your swag on.
Yeah, when you're big, you know, I can't put on clothes right now. Whole back be sweating. But you know, fall's coming.
Yes.
So I'm feeling good.
No, me and Andre linked this weekend, had a little good time out in Budapest, and then I feel like I'm just trying to get back into like the swing of schedule because watching film, got a game coming up this weekend versus Prague, big game, trying to get back into the schedule. Yeah.
Three left.
Yeah, y'all tune in too, man.
Yeah.
Tune in, ELF. Tune into the ELF, man.
You got 3 games left, finish the season.
Yeah.
I think 3 winnable games.
3 winnable games for sure.
When you guys see this, you'll hear about the
Yeah,
outcome.
you'll probably hear about the outcome.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. You think when you go into a season, you're like, damn. Well, especially this season because you know we had like 12 games back to back. You're like, oh, this is gonna be a long season. But then you got 3 weeks left. And you're like,
it's been a long.
You feel like it's
been a long season.
Yeah, it could be. I'm just refreshed because we had like 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we got 3 games left. Boom,
We got I wouldn't even say lucky, but like we have how many games did we miss? 2.
2, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it would be a very different feeling now.
That's true.
Yeah, very different feeling now. We got 3 bye weeks total.
That's wild.
Very wild.
And it was highly probable that we'd have this one off too.
Yeah.
This made things
We're
work.
getting lucky with this week.
Learning experience.
Yeah.
Learning experience for everybody. For me, myself too.
Yeah.
In 15-minute quarters. I remember when I was talking to Anto, and he was just like, bro, 15-minute quarters. I'm like, bro, get out of here, bro. It's like, it's an extra 3 minutes. Like, what is the extra 3 minutes? First game, my legs went heavy. And I looked at him, and I was like, beat him hard. I was like, my bad. He's like, for what? I was like, no, we still have like it's not even halftime yet, and my legs are heavy. And that was like the game where they didn't cut the grass very low, and the grass was kind of high.
That's right. But and we practice on turf, and then the first game being on grass, it's a little bit different too. So yeah, but you still got to get your legs under you the first game.
Shit. Yeah, 3 more weeks left. I'm waiting for fall, like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of summer. Probably my least favorite season.
It's hot.
It's just too hot. It's just too hot.
I was telling my girl too, like that's my favorite. My favorite season is fall. Yeah.Maybe being from New York, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's football season in the fall. It gets cooler, so you can put your layers on. It's fashion season.
Yeah.
And
you can kind of see, like, I can't wear pants like this during summer.
Right.
I will have like swamp hats.
Yeah.
These are kind of light though.
They're
But
light.
you know, like
they're like joggers, like runners.
But not yet. Fall, spring. See, I like spring.
Spring, yeah.
Spring is cool. Like, keep it less than 27 for me, and we good.
Yeah.
With 30 plus, can't do it.
If it's 30 plus, I gotta be at the beach. I gotta be on the field running, sweating. But like just in normal clothes, being hot.
that's the only good thing about it. You can actually run and your body feel good. Like,
right.
One thing I learned about Europe, you know, if it's like a regional thing or where you from, but when it gets cold, it's like my muscles feel different, way different than when it starts warming up. And I can like run. I don't even have to warm up before I run.
In the cold?
When it's warm.
Oh, when it's warm.
warm.
Of course, yeah, of course.
But when it's cold, it's just like, God dang.
Yeah.
Bone chilling, especially here in Hungary. It's bone chilling cold. It gets to your bones. I had to sit in the car like this.
Speaking to the camera.
Word.
Bones.
You hear me? This one you talking about summer. These are the shorts that I came off from Mallorca in. This is the one that Tim calls his boxers. His drawers.
Boy came off the plane and dropped. Hey, y'all should have seen the way he ran across the damn train station.
It was cold. It was like 10 degrees. I got off the plane. I was like, yo, and I kind of had a little stroll to the bus.
It was one day.
I was like, nah.
Man, how long it's been like this? A day. Oh, it was cold.
Cold as hell.
Like a couple days. Yeah. So what we got today?
You know, it actually gives me a tilt because I was having this conversation, but like, bro, what is it about like? How would you define black humor?
Black humor?
Define it. Cause like, I always hear Hungarians say like, you know, our humor is like very sarcastic, but like I say sarcastic shit to Hungarians and like they'll get like very tense and like over explaining themselves, and I'm like, y'all aren't sarcastic.
Y'all niggas, they're dramatic. They're dramatic.
They are dramatic.
Yeah.
But that's not humor though. That's not humor though.
I
don't really understand Hungarian humor. I know like British humor, but like black humor is like.
Black humor is like, it's love. It's love.
No, you talking black. Are you talking black or black humor? The term black
like,
humor.
No, the term like black humor, like Twitter, like black Twitter, like African American.
Oh,
humor.
African.
That's why they say black humor, not like dark.
Dark. Okay, I thought you meant like dark.
Oh,
like
you know.
UK humor.
Yeah, nah, I mean like black
That's
humor.
dark humor, not black humor, nigga.
Black humor is love, because when it's black humor, you kind of on people that you care about the most. That's who you like deliver it to. So like your friends and shit, it's just like I can see somebody walk across the street and I can pick at them all day, but it ain't gonna be the same. That black humor is just like,
it's like endearing at the same time.
yeah, it's endearing.
Not everybody feels.
But it's
It don't matter.
because you gotta. Yeah, that's the thing. Because it's gotta be. You have to have the reference. You gotta understand what someone's talking about.
Yeah,
You know?
but there's some people like it's crazy. There are people I'll come across the pond, or like even like my, you know why I fuck with Anto so much is Anto kind of like understood like the sarcasm of like when I would say things, or like when I'd be messing with people and stuff like that, or just like how black humor is sometimes just like we'll point out something that's like very visible and like apparent and like make fun of it.
You know what that could be due to, like the struggle, because a lot of our black humor comes from the ghetto. Like we make jokes about the ghetto. Like you said, it's very visible. We see it. It's relative to us, but we make fun of it to shed light on it, but to kind of make light of it.
Yeah, but sometimes you just grow up in a humorous family. Like
but they're coming from the same. But they're coming from that environment.
Yeah,
they're coming from
my family. Like you gotta, when you step in the room, you gotta have thick skin, because they don't know you. They gonna say something, and you gotta be like, okay, I'm coming with something.
But it's like even the smallest things, like if you stutter, they gonna get on you.
Yeah.
If you trip, they gonna get on you. But you don't see that in other like cultures. Like when I'm hanging out with like white people or like other cultures, it's like they don't like really get like they don't clown on like small things like if you trip,
bro. It
like,
don't come from a place of love. That's
bro,
why.
It does come from a place of love. Bro.
It don't come from a place of love. It's like if I'm picking with you, like if I give you a nickname, it's like I do with everybody. It's just like somebody be like, oh man, give him a nickname. It's like I can't just do it like that. It has to come natural.
We had a dude in the warm-ups, the junior practice. One of the dudes that was walking up, and Tim walks by, and Tim is like the king of nicknames, and I didn't even notice it. I was looking at him, and I was like, he looks familiar. Tim walked by him. He's like, hey, what's up, Keanu Reeves? And I was like, that's it right there. I was like, you look like Keanu Reeves. And
I was just saying, like,
John Wick.
You give people nicknames. It kind of, first off, it lightens the mood.
Yeah.
Secondly, it gives, I don't know, it just gives them something to like, okay, this is me. Like
every nickname that anybody has is on Tim, on the team.
Yeah,
like
bro.
Prison Body Pete.
Yeah, Freaky Pete. It's just something that just comes now. I think my uncle used to do it all the time. Like he gave everybody a nickname, whether you liked it or not. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, everybody gives people nicknames.
Yeah, but it's not like
but it's like different when it
it's
sticks.
very different.
Yeah.
It's like what was your nickname growing up? Like growing up, you know, everybody used to call you something.
Not really.
Dre.
But that's not a nickname.
That's
That's
not
just
a
short of my name.
So they don't have nicknames in Vermont. But you know, when you in the South, I mean, you got Kit Kat, you peanut butter bar, whatever her name is. Like my nickname was Meat.
Meat.
I walked someone on Meat. Yeah, 'cause I was a little chunky. Nigga was a little thick. They call me Meat. Just slap. I didn't take that name. The hood gave it to me in Memphis. I didn't.
But just like, you know all the nicknames you've given out with people on the team, where it's like there's a kid on the team that's like really, really pale, right? He calls him Big Mill.
Oh, Big Mill.
But like, I don't even know how Peter Hano got his name, Freaky Pete.
Freaky Pete, as soon as you brought up that CrossFit girl, he had her in the phone. This her? It's like, damn, Freaky Pete, you got CrossFit on. He didn't even finish her name yet. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's, like you said, it does come from a place of endearment, and it's trying to connect with the people that you probably give your nicknames to. But
it's deep.
They don't receive that. They don't really understand. So that's why even if you call somebody by their nickname, they'll be like, ha ha ha. But they won't feel connected to you.
Yeah.
But they should feel connected to you because you're giving them a name of endearment. It's like calling somebody babe or something like that.
Yeah.
You calling that person babe because you want to feel that connection. But
I'm not doing fucking.
Or you might not have a connection to something. This right here is how I used to like bring people together. Like let's say it's this guy over here, he's a little odd, and I was always pretty much friends with everybody.
Yeah.
So I give him a nickname. Now you call him this shit.
Exactly.
So now you start to know him. You're like, oh, that's goddamn so and so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bro. And it's like now you know him.
That's
now
what
he's not the weird kid in the room.
Yeah.
Right. That's
So-
what
And then everything's a joke for us too, because like I was even like, and that's the thing, the humor like it's deep too, because like, well like even certain things like you know like you hear like people say like if you're driving on the highway and you drive past exit 11, like a white person will go, whoa, that is exit 11. A black person is gonna wait till you drive by the exit and be like, damn, where the hell you going? Like, like shit like that is just like that's like in our nature kind of, and
It is.
and I don't know like it's like it's a. I know. I'd like to.
I know,
like,
it
really,
goes
sit
back
down
to
and
what
kinda,
Dre
like,
said.
define black humor, and I feel like a lot of it comes from like the struggle and kind of like making light of things.
That is it.
You have to be able to make. But we're able to make light of
Crazy.
anything.
Bro, it comes
And that's the
from
thing.
struggle.
Black Twitter makes light of everything, and mostly like aliens or just like things that is just like people always make that joke. It's just like, bro, if the world's about to end, Twitter is going to be still on some joke shit. And like the thing, let's be real, it's like most humor comes from like African American culture, where it's just like make light of shitty situations.
stereotypes, all of that.
Yeah, bro.
But I think it's multi-layered because you said that everything's a joke to us, but it's not.
I probably shouldn't have said it like that, but it's just like the ability to make light of.
We find humor in everything.
We can,
And I feel like even with me, like my coaches used to always be like, man, McGee, what you laughing so much for? Everybody be like, dang, Tim, you smile all the time. And it's not because I'm happy or nothing. It's because one, I've been through a lot of shit, and I've probably been through more than most. So I don't. A hard time for you is just like adversity for me.
Yeah.
And I always feel in control. So it's like, if I walk in a room, I might be giggly, but I'm like, I'm safe. Because I'm me. So I'm not scared of nobody. So it's like, I can be myself. Because I don't care what you think, because what you gonna do to me for real? If some shit really broke down, you can't really do nothing. So I'm just a happy person.
Is that dark humor? To make light of any situation?
No. That's where humor comes from.
Well, I'm just saying though, it's just like if you had to define it, it's just like if you had to define black humor.
What you laugh at the hardest? Things that you can relate to.
Well,
Things
I
or
laugh.
thoughts that
For
you can
me,
relate to.
I laugh at the hardest. Now thinking of it, things that like making light of tough situations. That like to me, that is just like hilarious. Where like a group of people is taking something a little bit too seriously, and then you have another group that's like that can find the humor in it.
I feel like in Europe.
Is that dark humor?
Nah, I feel like
I think it's dark humor. Yeah.
I don't
For
think
example,
so.
all right, let's take an example. I won't say, you know, the details, you know, because maybe it'll rise some and trigger some people. But Dave Chappelle's last topic of his stand-up.
Oh yeah.
Well, he did too.
I feel like
to be honest,
that stuff is funny for everybody. It's just
but
like,
it's dark because you're taking a section of society and you're kind of shedding light on it at the same time, but making fun of it. It's not funny for a lot of people, but it's funny because like we all kind of think of the same shit, you know. And you saying it in a way that's like it's funny.
yeah, I feel like as long as it's like tasteful, funny, like it's like if I'm a white comedian and I make, let's say I'm Gary Owens, his comedy was geared towards black people, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Or like
He can clown us, and it's still funny, and we can laugh at it.
Yeah, like
Dave
Bill-
Chappelle.
like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
He touches everybody. They touch
Yeah.
everybody.
As long as it's funny, we gonna laugh at it.
Yeah.
But then you
You
got
can
a
be talking
comedian.
directly about our community. There's a lot of people that talk directly about our community. So like, as long as it's funny, it's
It's
like.
like, yeah. But you got a comedian like Kramer, who, the guy from Seinfeld. I don't know if y'all remember, but he got on stage. He, it's like stuff like that. It's like, bro,
What are you doing?
come on, bro. Like,
But it's funny though. Like it's funny. But,
Yeah, it is
but
funny.
But that's
There's a
when-
part of it that is funny.
That's
black-
what the
black
line is.
people
Like,
love
it's
it.
crazy.
It's funny that you said that though, because we are laughing at that.
Exactly.
That's all I'm
What are
saying.
you doing?
and black people love him.
Where some people would be like appalled, like,
They'd be like, "Excuse me."
yeah, but me in the back, I'm like, bro, are you fucking serious?
It's like the audacity for you to say that,
Yeah.
but that's just hilarious because you had the audacity to say that.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna be hanging out after
Right.
this, but
Nah, comedy is crazy because like some stand-ups, I'm just like, can you get deeper with that topic? Because you know sometimes they use humor to really try to express themselves, like a Cat
Yeah.
Williams or even Dave Chappelle, right? And they'll touch on a subject, and everybody's laughing and shit. You can just see in their face that they want to go in, but they just don't go in.
the comedian?
Yeah, because then it'll flip into something serious, and then you don't know how people will react.
Well, you have, yeah, I was about to say, like,
That's part of comedy. Like, if you grow up like the way I grew up, I'm watching like Robert Harrison, I'm watching Dolomite, but I'm watching Eddie Murphy, I'm watching like Will Ferrell,
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live. So I'm getting a dose of all types of comedy at once. Richard Pryor, I'm watching all his movies, and it's like I'm seeing all this comedic stuff, and I'm pulling everything in. And I'm like, dang man, it's funny as a spectrum. And I feel like you could start pulling, and you got to have like a kind of a different,
but what are those spectrums though? From like what? From this to this?
like dry humor,
Dry humor's this end, and then what's
dry humor, and then you got Mike Epps. So you got the guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
But that's the thing. I feel like
and you got
Mike Epps. I feel like Mike Epps is like a cult classic type of funny.
Mike
He's like
Epps
kind
is
of be a
Richard.
part of
Mike
culture.
Epps is a guy who can literally go on stage with nothing and just start talking,
But I don't know.
and it's funny.
I don't
Michael
know.
Black's the same way.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't know.
Michael Blackson is kind of different than Mike Epps because it's like I feel like most like the demographic at Mike Epps versus the demographic at Michael Blackson. I feel like you may find more like people up from different cultures in Michael Blackson than Mike Epps. Mike Epps is gonna bring in the cult.
But what I'm
Yeah,
saying is
but
like
the spectrum doesn't go from the spectrum isn't okay. There could be a spectrum within the comedic space, but as far as humor goes, the spectrum would probably be more like Mike Epps to that shit that
I don't know if you can say spectrum for this because spectrum for me is just like this way. It may just be like a
well, yeah,
range.
it's a spectrum this way, but there's things within that
Yeah.
range.
it's like I can watch Friday, but then I can go and watch Super Troopers. Y'all probably never saw.
It's the
Super
same, but that's the same type of stuff.
No, it's not.
the same type of.
It's completely different. Friday
Super Troopers.
and Super Troopers, Beer Fest, guys like that.
Yeah, but
that's
that's
tough
so-
though
Slam
because
Salmon.
like,
Yeah,
if
but
you
that's
put
so-
on Friday for somebody in Europe versus if you put Super Troopers on for somebody in Europe,
That's true.
it's like, you know, I can if they
It's
don't
like
find
you
Friday
relate,
funny,
yeah.
40-year-old version compared to The Wash with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. You probably ain't seen.
Okay, but 40-year-old version to that shit that Jackass or the stuff.
Jackass is like universal. Universal comedy.
Yeah.
Like when people like falling off of shit.
Universal comedy.
That's just not funny.
That's-
to me, that's just not funny.
It may not be funny to you, but I feel like that's universal comedy.
That's physical comedy.
Yeah, that stuff.
That's like
Some of the Jackass stuff is funny,
Is
but
that
like
comedy?
the shit.
It's
people
not really. Yeah, it's not really. I wouldn't call that comedy. Well, it is a physical comedy in a sense.
What's that show? What's that show?
Ridiculousness.
Ridiculousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that stuff's not funny.
Is that comedy? I mean, I guess it is a form of
I
comedy.
mean, if you like find funniest home videos, where they got it from.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
seeing crazy stuff, a dog trip up a baby. It's like, is that dark humor?
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know.
but I mean, like, I feel like comedy is on a lot of shit that I find funny. You may not find funny, but sometimes it's like it's certain people where you can look at some shit, like with Benjamin, I look at you like, it's like, what the fuck? That might be to say that.
Right.
It's like,
Nah, I just
You have
have
to
if I look at you, we look at each other.
You understand?
Like,
Why do I low-key feel like some people from, if like, wherever you're from, some people that are like, come from like a struggle, could maybe watch a Friday movie, wherever you're from, Europe, Middle East, and would laugh.
It's the truth. You know, I was really surprised on the same note when I went to Turkey
Yeah.
that they had the same type of understanding. Maybe not the same, but they had a really strong understanding of the humor, whether it's verbal or what they saw.
Yeah.
And they were like stand-up comedies. When you say something that's kind of from the U.S., they got it and they laughed and they responded to it.
Yeah.
And they like held the conversation, they held the
Right.
same mind frame. Because they from that
Yeah.
struggle, I think it's true. I think there's something to it.
I gotta say, for people out there in the world, I remember when I went to Germany in 2012, the biggest comedian was Cat Williams. Everybody knew Cat Williams. Kevin Hart came later on, but everybody knew Cat Williams. And then Kevin Hart all of a sudden just got big. Wow.
One thing that is an interesting thing though, because like with Cat Williams is like everybody finds Cat Williams funny, but Cat Williams doesn't always talk about just like cultural stuff. Like,
Yeah.
He'll talk about like like the crypto like joke where it's just like smoking and
Everybody
you get,
knows weed.
Everybody knows weed, but like Mike Epps is just like Mike Epps will never be like out in Europe.
No.
He's too deep in the
Right.
culture.
But then you got like
It's
certain,
like hip hop comedy.
Yeah.
and you got certain exposure too, because like here people watch the show My Wife and Kids.
They do.
Yeah, and
Really?
it plays on TV, and Cat Williams was on that show,
Was it?
so they watch that stuff. Or Cat Williams stand-ups. They used to be here, like they were playing, and it's like, okay, I know Cat Williams, and then like I said, all of a sudden Kevin Hart started getting more exposure, started being on more stuff, and people started seeing him. And then
Kevin
he came
Hart's
out.
more mainstream.
Mainstream,
Yeah, he became mainstream because of that. But Cat Williams was main, like he was on the map, but he stopped. His exposure went down because of the TV stuff.
Yeah.
Just imagine if he would have had a sitcom.
That'd been tough. That'd been tough.
Yeah, but that's around the time he started getting in trouble.
Shit, because maybe he was turning down some money.
Cat-
If he had
That's
a
the thing,
sitcom,
yeah. Cat
he wanna
really,
control
Cat
everything.
really could have been the Kevin Hart, honestly, if you ask
You
me.
know who was the Kevin Hart?
Who?
What's the name? Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle was like
Oh, that's not even.
Chappelle show,
That's
right?
not even close though. He the OG.
He's still OG.
But I feel like
He's still
Cat
there.
Williams could have been on some Dave Chappelle shit if he would have got into sitcoms and probably didn't get in much trouble, because like Cat Williams had like he was universal in a way, because I feel like you go anywhere people will find him funny.
Yeah.
But he still had like his own little swagger to him. He still had like that African American culture where like the pimp thing with the perm,
Mhm.
you know, he still had that universal tag, but he still had like his like African American tag with the culture. Yeah, that was
I feel,
he could have really blown up.
He could've-
even with Mike Epps,
It's true.
I feel like you gotta have. So in some comics, you gotta have a certain understanding. Like when I see Mike Epps, he reminded me of like one of my cousins or something.
Yeah, cousins.
So,
your uncle,
so I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's what I
just
feel.
stupid fun.
It's stupid. I feel like everything is like improv.
Yeah.
You walk on stage.
Yeah, that's what. That's
They
what
walk
I
on
feel
stage like, where the fat bitch is at?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I know you did not plan on saying.
What do we at? What do we at?
What we did?
It is random, and it's just like that's to me that's the type of comedy I like.
He's dope. I'm a big fan of Cat Williams. Big fan.
I'm
I mean, well, Cat Williams, but Mike Epps.
I have to go to one of Mike Epps stand-ups. I have to go. Cause bro,
Yeah.
I like Cat Williams, I like Dave Chappelle, but that bro, when I watch Mike Epps, I really be like rolling.
Yeah.
The only person that really like makes me laugh besides them is Will Ferrell. That man, he's just funny. He's just funny. He's just funny, bro. I can't describe it. Like
It's not, what is that, like that's like an awkward humor that he kind of
but even I feel like him,
Will
That's
Ferrell
like
ever
a-
done stand-up?
him and Michael Blackson.
I think so.
Has Will Ferrell done stand-up?
I don't know. I know he was on Saturday Night Live for a long time. But Will Ferrell and Michael Blackson, it's just like those two guys. They can just walk on stage and you just start laughing. It's just like you just know something is about to come. Like the class clown, like you just look around in class and you like, I know you about to say something.
I don't know how you can pin that with it's their
Yes.
aura.
Yeah,
The
or
way they look.
and Michael Blackson walk in the room, I'm gonna start laughing.
Right.
Bro, son.
To actually go off of your topic about what's dry humor and like the spectrum of humor
Yeah.
and like how we all have different perspectives and we all have different preferences of humor. I wanted to talk about guilty pleasures.
Ooh.
Like, what's your guilty pleasure? And it doesn't have to be something that
Don't get no
you're
whack.
ashamed of.
Don't get no whack shit though.
You want to go in?
No, I want to go
Trying
in.
to pod?
This is it. We trying to pod.
I'm trying to pod.
My
What's
guilty.
your guilty pleasure?
I wake up too
It's
late.
crazy.
Like, nah, get deep.
Oh, you want to get deep?
Well, not too
Then you gotta
deep.
go first, so you can set the tone.
Well, mine ain't like crazy, but like I think one of my guilty pleasures.
You know?
I don't know. I don't want to get crazy. It's like say,
About to get crazy.
Paul, like,
Word.
I don't want to get crazy. You about to say something?
Tim got a contagious laugh, boy.
You about to say something?
Mine is like when I be at the club sometimes, especially in Europe, or like if I go back to I can't with this nigga. When I go back to America, like if niggas is playing like Paramore or like Blink 182 or like Fall Out Boy or like Panic at the Disco,
Word.
I'll be in the back like rapping like bro, cause that shit go hard to me.
That
Like,
shit goes on.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like I don't know why, but I don't be wanting people to like see me jamming out to that shit, bro. Like, can you imagine? Like I can't. You can't like. So I'll be all.
Rashad, get in the comments.
Also, because like the way people dancing on those songs.
Yeah, the way people
jumping up and
dancing,
down.
jumping up and down. So like, so I may be looking like, bruh.
What you rapping?
People. There's been plenty of people that have caught me probably looking like, bro, what are we playing right now?
Yeah.
But in my head, like, don't let me go to the bathroom. Like,
You be in the mirror?
I'll be vibing.
Like,
No, yeah.
that's
the thing, bro. I feel like it's like a hidden secret that a lot of minorities love that.
Oh, yeah.
Love those music. Like,
Blink
what is it?
182. Blink 182. What's that? Everybody talk shit. Nickelback. Everybody talks about the Nickelback.
That's a
man.
little bit more.
Yeah, well, everybody talks about
I
Nickelback.
still love Nickelback. I love his what do you call it? I remember high school. It was a high school football game, and I used to listen like Nickelback, Blink 182. And I remember the coach kind of walked in and was like, he was gonna make like a little adjustment, and I took my shit off, and we all sitting on like couches and shit, and he's like drawing on the board, and he stopped to think about something, and you could hear Nickelback playing.
You remind me of that joint?
I forgot what it was, and he was like, "What the hell is that?" He said, who's listening to music?" And I'm listening. I'm like, "Bro, that's my shit too."
Hold on. So what you had?
I had a Nickelback song.
You remind me.
Bruh, we listening to Pastor Troy, bro.
What?
You know, listening on Nickelback before no foot.
Well,
Pastor
no,
Troy.
it was on my headphones.
Let me hear you say,
It was on my headphones, and I'm listening
That boy
to it.
listening
And
to
the coach
Nickelback.
said, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, yeah, somebody turn that down. I think that's that phone right there. And he says, "Who the hell is listening to Nickelback?" and I'm just like this, bro. And somebody was just like, "That's Jabray's phone."
That's
I was
it.
back like, and everybody started clowning.
I would just be like, I got fucking music taste. I got a broad range of music taste.
This nigga, you lame though, bro. Like you ain't got no.
When somebody to tap that coffee cup, want to rub that spoon around that thing.
He ain't got an eclectic music taste.
That's what it sounds like to you?
I'm not listening to Nickelback before no football game.
He's not saying he's listening to it before football games.
You said you had it on before.
Yeah, it was in the playlist. It's like, you know,
We
you
listen
get
to
shuffle
Past
sometimes
Troll.
and go wherever.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on the playlist.
Oh, we did grow up in a different time. We listened to Pastor Troy, Youngblood, East Side Boy.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, God.
My guilty pleasure. I really got two guilty pleasures. Two things I enjoy. That's I love like how in the second episode I talked about like I just love to watch things about like Genesis, like how things started. I watch a bunch of documentaries about like why we here, about like
You feel guilty about that?
astrophysics. It's just like something that you wouldn't think that I do. I watch this stuff every day.
Is that a guilty pleasure?
I think it is. Like I'm watching Neil deGrasse Tyson. I watch his podcast.
I don't
So
think
you a nerd.
I don't
Like
think
you like a closet nerd.
Yeah, I'm like a closet
You like a
nerd.
closet
Yeah.
nerd.
So shouldn't you be like low key like ashamed or like embarrassed to tell people your guilty pleasure?
It's just not common knowledge. It's like something that you do to entertain yourself that other people might not do, or or people might not share.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh shit, never mind. I got a few. Hey, y'all about to laugh at this one. So, when I was in Germany, it wasn't a lot of people who looked like me. So what I used to do was, I used to set up a day where I just watched reality shows. I'm talking about Love and Hip Hop,
Yeah, something like that.
ATL Housewives, because I felt like I had to keep in touch. I had to keep in touch with all people. So I was watching the reality shows as if I was a part of them. I would be talking to the TV. You better go, hey Stephen J, man, you better not talk to us. Like,
Yeah,
that's a guilty pleasure right there.
that's cool. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what your guilty pleasure
Yeah,
is. That's
probably.
cool.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. What is it?
What was that?
What is it?
R&B music.
Oh, my God.
That's a
I'm
guilty
gonna
pleasure.
have to think if I know of any Slab's guilty pleasures.
Guilty pleasure, R&B music.
Okay, I'll give you guys an example. Well, not an example.
Something that we can clown you.
Like for example, but it's not an example. It's just what one of my guilty pleasures is. Like I really enjoy watching people make cosplay costumes.
Watching people make them?
Make them, yeah. Like if I could go to Comic-Con, I would go to Comic-Con because like I'm like a closet nerd and I love watching how people make cosplay costumes. You know what cosplay costumes are?
I know a cosplay. You just
Yeah.
enjoy watching them?
Yeah, I'll
Make it?
enjoy watching them make it. Yeah, like how do you make those?
You've never been to one though?
No, I've never been to one.
I feel like that's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I love like cosplay is dope to me. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what would you dress up as? Like one of them anime characters?
Hell yeah. I would dress up like Street Fighter character
Yeah.
or something like.
That would probably be a
Or
guilty
some
pleasure
shit.
of mine because I feel like I wouldn't post no photos of that. I'd just be like, yeah, I'm yeah. This nigga catch me, I'll be taking everything off. Nah, you niggas is weird as fuck over there. Weird as hell.
Word. Yeah, that's one of my. I used to think that too. When I was like my first 2 years in Prague, I would watch like America's Next Top Model.
Yeah,
I would watch like
I got
Housewives,
shows. I
Hip-Hop.
got guilty pleasure
Yeah,
shows.
guilty pleasure shows for sure.
Like, I used to watch Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little Liars.
Bro, it's a girl show.
Yeah.
But that shit was popping.
Mm-hmm. I like women comedians. I watch all the women comedians on Netflix. You know, like
You know what?
Schumer.
I got a guilty pleasure
Oh god.
that we can agree with. Pissing outside. Like pissing outside, like, I can't describe it. Think about it like you at a festival or some shit, or you at practice, you can't get to the bathroom, you go to the woods, and you pissing outside, bro. You just take a piss outside, breathing in the fresh air. It's just nothing like it.
I feel you, but I think sometimes it could be pleasurable 100%.
Hell
Sometimes it's not pleasurable.
Bro, taking a good piss outside?
Taking a good piss outside, but sometimes it's not pleasurable. Like if you got to go in between like
Nah,
some
not that
small
shit,
tweets
nah.
and shit
No.
to not be seen, because some places you can get fined for it. You can get like a red dot.
Not like that. Like, let's say you in the woods at night, fucking stars out. You like, I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, okay.
You take a piss, you look at that, the stuff.
I was gonna say it don't matter where. Like
One of them
as soon as
deep
that
breath
shit
piss
does,
where you
like,
fucking
man, bro,
back.
I'm
Shit feel
good.
good, yeah.
Pissing outside is word.
The best, which is interesting, I mean, you talk about taking a piss. The best, and it's crazy because like I remember this moment.
Yeah.
I would say the best outdoor piss I took was a few years ago. Do you know SantaCon? You ever heard of SantaCon?
No.
It's in New York City every year, and they have like people come from all across the country, and you dress up in Santa suits and elf suits and shit like that. You run it around the city. It's a beer crawl. And it's hundreds of people. It's lit, super lit. So a few of my friends, we would go for like 2 or 3 years, and you drinking all day. You bouncing from bar to bar, lounge to lounge, drinking, running around in these crazy outfits. And I was an elf one year, and
This is a 1 year. How many times?
we went like 2 or 3 years.
That boy's a cosplayer. We just find out. That's a guilty pleasure. Now we know.
And we went from like Times Square to, I don't know, like Upper East or something like that. And we were on a train, and I had to pee so bad.
Yeah.
I literally like almost pissed myself waiting on the train. And then when we got to the stop,
You on the New York subway, nigga. Take that bitch right there. You on the New York City subway
It's like
train.
somebody standing right beside a picture.
Yeah, for real.
real.
Yeah, I get beside you.
Who been riding the train for 3 days?
bruh, that shit felt so good when I finally got to the stop and was able to pee.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
You probably what? The doors open and you just.
I like ran to the corner.
Oh, you ran to the
Yeah.
corner. I was about to say you probably didn't go all the way upstairs. You probably peed right.
That's a guilty pleasure right there for everybody.
Peeing outside.
Pissing outside. This is different.
Word.
That should be different for girls, boy. That should be funny as fuck when I be walk around a random corner, you be seeing them in a fucking. Oh God!
Now, it's another one, and I don't know if you guys do it when you at airports and stuff, but people watch. I think people watching is like one of my favorite things.
That's
to do.
about one of mine too. I
I will say that's a guilty pleasure of mine because I feel like I probably would, because it can come off as like judgmental, but it's like.
You know, like when we drive past and you see that dude eating that ice cream cone on the side, he tearing that shit up.
Tearing that shit up.
Like, bro, what you do? What? First off, why you got a cone? Standing on the side of the road, bro. At least grab a little cup.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine too, nigga. Because I like cones, but he will be telling me you're supposed to get a cup.
I'm walking with them. All 3 of them walking with cones.
They say it's gay now.
Hey, look,
If you look in the cone.
They say if you get a cone, it's gay.
Look.
So look at that.
Cones, glizzy, what y'all call them, glizzies.
That's a hot dog.
Exactly. But
You gotta
them
eat
ice cream
cones,
cones,
aggressive
bro.
now. When you get a banana, you gotta tear it off and roll it around like some Skittles, and then
What you doing that to a hot dog?
no,
Like this to a hot dog?
nah, banana.
To a glizzy?
No, banana. That's what I'm saying. Just
You
like
gotta-
other shit. They said, bro, I'm telling you, I've seen a video. Niggas like you can't eat bananas like this no more. You gotta peel it off.
Good.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care about no bananas or nothing, but the ice cream cone and the licking the ice cream cone and stuff, like, bro, just bite it.
Yeah, I bite my
Just
shit.
bite your ice cream.
Yeah, bite the ice cream cone.
Be a man. Be a man.
Nah, if it's dripping, I'll like lick it to not make it drip.
That
Pause.
pause.
Just bite it.
That boy said, I gotta lick it up so it don't drip. That boy will be on his job. That boy,
Just bite it. It's for the look. I don't like it.
bro. If I saw you over there biting ice cream,
But I bite it. I bite the ice cream.
You low key look like you have mental problems.
Why?
You do
You not like that.
bro. I like you. I'm not finna show you an example.
You can
but-
sauce it up though. You just like,
Bro, you can't take a bite out of ice cream
You can't.
consistently.
No, bro.
Y'all boys got to
You want me to licking the cone? Just get a cup. You eliminate everything. Get a cup and a
you
spoon.
gotta get a cup.
Oh, cup and a spoon, yeah. And then
Yeah.
you,
Yes, let me get that.
you peel away.
Yeah, you peel away. Yeah.
But you can't get no ice cream cone and take bites out of it
Shit.
until it's done.
Yes, you
Yeah, I can't wait.
As soon as I get a cone, I bite that shit. I ain't.
can. I actually know that shit.
What the fuck is that?
My mother bites ice cream. She.
Y'all built different.
Yeah.
Y'all the aliens. Cause
Yeah, right.
I can't do that shit.
I ain't looking no ice cream.
Yeah, just bite that shit.
That's the thing,
And
but
then
once
switch-
that,
put-
once
put
it's,
you don't keep it in the front of your mouth. You put it to the side of your mouth,
well, yeah, you gotta get it there immediately after you take a bite.
bro. You don't just be like, "Arr." It's ice cream. You don't got. It's not meat.
Jay the type nigga who get a goddamn blow pop me. Like, bro, just bite the damn blow pop and get the gum
Swirling
out.
it, swirling
Sit
it
right
in front
here,
of
you
your mouth.
jaw, just
Word.
walk. Don't even.
Wow.
Shit, I do that with lollipops.
Don't be.
I take. If I get a lollipop, I break the lollipop ball off and I just put it.
Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing entirely too
So
much.
we know. Do you bite it or do you lick it? Put it in the comments. Shit.
Bite it or you lick the lollipop, or yank
You
it
bite the lollipop
straight
off.
off, straight off the wrapper, straight out.
But
the
like
wrapper.
that's some cool shit though to have a lollipop and you just got it in your mouth.
That
right?
used to be cool. It used to be cool.
I'm saying you can sit it in your jaw and just walk around, but you can't be out there like put it in your jaw and you roll it around. And like, bro, what is that? Why you playing with it? Just bite it.
you remember when we used to be able to call each other like gay and just be like funny?
You can't do that shit
You
no more.
can't do that shit no more.
No.
Say, wow.
No, it makes sense though.
Why does it make sense?
It's derogatory. It's like if somebody does something like criminal activity, you're like, oh, that's black. Like, oh, that's some black shit.
Hey.
Like you feel what I'm saying? It's just like you can't call anything. You saying gay. It's just like there's niggas out here that are gay, and you saying that's gay.
Bruh,
It's like now it's used in a derogatory
Yeah,
sense.
I guess so.
I can remember.
What you mean you guess so?
Bruh.
This nigga said I guess so. That nigga said I'm gonna keep saying.
Yeah, but gay, like if you look in the dictionary, it means something like
But-
joyful. And
But that's
happy
not
and
what you
shit
mean by it
like-
when you
Okay.
say it. Where it's like if somebody does something that's usually bad, you say that's gay.
It doesn't have to be bad though. It's just funny. It could be something that's funny.
Like, give me an example though, so I can debunk you.
Let's see. So.
Bro,
That's gay.
I'm about
That's gay.
to take it. Hey, so check this out. So you remember? I don't know how it was in y'all locker room,
So that's gay.
but like from high school to college, I always remember dudes like playing around doing different stuff in the locker room, and like you'll be like, oh man, look at that shit I like. Bruh, did y'all hear about a dude from LSU? Like recording dudes in the shower and putting that shit on OnlyFans, and he got kicked out of school. Was it LSU?
I have not heard about
I
that.
think it was LSU. He was recording his teammates in the shower.
This year?
Clemson, that's where it was at. Clemson. He was this shit, recording his teammates in the shower and putting that shit on OnlyFans, bro. Taking pictures of
That's crazy.
and
That's
shit.
wild.
This is like, damn.
That shit gay.
What is it? Damn.
But
Damn.
nah, but we used to say it for like being funny, like yo, you.
Oh man, that shit gay as hell right there.
Yeah, like the shirt looked crazy. It probably looked good, but we were saying that shit's gay because that's how we used to compliment each other back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
No, man. No, nigga.
Like-
you didn't compliment like, oh, that's fat. Like, you know how niggas used to say that, oh, that's fat. But you niggas never said, oh, that's gay. Like, you doing that.
Not in that way.
No.
But they'd be like, oh, that shit is gay. Like if.
Gay isn't bad.
Yeah.
Nah, but also funny. For example, if you was wearing a pink polo shirt in 2003, 2002, that shit gay as hell, bro. But that, in the back of your mind, like, that shit kind of fly.
Yeah.
Or because it wasn't the
Before
fashion.
Cameron started doing it.
Yeah. Because even when Cameron came out wearing the pink shit, they were like, that shit is gay as hell.
Yeah, see, I don't see how you don't understand how.
No, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Cause you be mad as hell.
But it was
if-
a term.
You be mad as hell if a nigga stole a book. If like one of the players, one of the Hungarian players stole a book bag, and then one of the other Hungarians said, "Hey, that's black as hell." You be like, "Hey, hold on, what you talking about?"
Yeah.
Well, you do got certain things like when somebody put like a bottle of hot sauce out of their bag or some shit.
That's not like used in a bad way. It's just like,
But you can't compare that shit.
But you used to be able to say that shit gay.
yeah. But now we in like PC culture where like
Everything now has a.
well, that's the thing. There's some things that I feel like is a little bit too much like, and I still, something I gotta work on it because I try not to say it as much, but like, I don't think you should say that. If you do say it, try and say it around people like, yo, little group, but like, in public, I feel like, especially if you're around a group of people you don't know, don't say no shit like that.
Well, the way I feel about it, I mean, it's like, let's say, something have you be like, oh man, that's just right there gay as hell. You can't say that, but if I'm a gay guy, I can call a girl, oh, come here, bitch.
Word,
it's just like,
yeah.
The fuck?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been called gay, or has anyone?
What?
Has anyone? No, but I'm saying like,
No.
It's a serious question. Has anyone assumed you were gay, or said you were gay, or asked if you was gay?
No.
I have plenty of times. Especially when I was in
I really didn't see.
Tim too big.
I really didn't see gay. Magic Johnson's son.
Bruh.
Well, that's the thing.
You ever been to the Village in New York?
That's where I was about to go. I never really seen gay people until I went to the Village in New York, West 4th Street, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to this restaurant called the PT Cup. It's like a famous black restaurant. And so we going through the Village, and I don't notice, like, I'm from South Carolina. I didn't notice none of this. So I'm walking, and I see like 2 old men holding hands. Nah. And then I'm like, oh, let's go into this sports bar. Nah, we can't go in there.
It's probably the sports bar that I'm.
And I look, and I look again, and I see dudes like, yeah, bro. I'm like,
Giving massages and shit.
I'm like, you know what? Okay, this shit exists for real. I kept going.
So I grew up. You couldn't even look that way. Shoot, I was 22 years old, 23 years old. I was in New York with my aunt. Shout out to my aunt. And we was on the ferry about to hit Manhattan. I'm 23 years old.
Yeah.
And we're sitting and we about to get up. And there's a group of gay dudes, like 2 or 3 of them.
No.
They're not being kids, but they gay.
No, I'm talking about this.
They were gay.
That
Okay, cool.
I just want to know the story going.
Yeah, but not in a bad way. They were homosexuals, and they weren't being like flamboyant and stuff like that. They were just there. They were just like talking and stuff. And I'm looking around because I like to scan, especially if you're fucking on the ferry. I'm just scanning, and my aunt's like, "Don't look that way," and I'm like, you couldn't even look that way. You couldn't even like be next to a gay person. You know what I'm saying? This is like how I was brought up in that religion spectrum. So it was going off your experience. So I wasn't really like familiar. I was never really kind of hip to that culture. Not that I was supposed to be in the culture, but like, being around people that had that sexual orientation. So one time my friend, he was like, yo, let's meet in New York City, right? And he led us to the Village, and I had no idea, and like culture and stuff like that was all about. It's like, so long story short, when we got up to the Village, I was looking around, and I was seeing black guys, you know what I'm saying? And then I looked into this sports bar, and I saw dudes as big as Tim giving each other massages and hugging and kissing and shit like that. I was like, yo, where the fuck are we? And then my friend Chris runs around the corner. He's like, welcome to the Village. I'm like, this is where we hanging out? He's like, nah, I want to try to see something special.
I had that situation. I had a situation in Amsterdam where the girl who set the trip up for us, she booked the hostel in like the gay district of Amsterdam because it's right beside the red light district. And I don't know, I'm just walking and I see the flags and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Walking. And I look to the right and in this window I see like assless chaps with like whips and like little leather hats. And I'm like, oh, okay, what is this? And I look to the left, right across from the hostel, there's a club called Dirty Dicks. I'm like, bruh.
Pause.
Bruh, it was called Dirty Dicks. I'm like, yo, what is this? Because I had never seen nothing like that before. It's like when we went to Berlin.
Yeah.
Because I never seen nothing like that. And, shit, growing up in the South, you really I mean, you hear people talk, but so you really don't see it.
Yeah, I was exposed to it the most when I was in school, like in Providence, and it was crazy because like they used to say like Providence was like the gay capital on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to Providence, well, I went to Bryant, it's outside of Providence. That's when I started to see, gay people, lesbians, and stuff like this, and they would be at parties and stuff like that. And at first, I was kind of like, I don't know how to communicate, I don't know how to be around them. But as time goes on, you understand that they're regular ass people.
Yeah.
They do regular ass shit. Like they're not throwing their beliefs and stuff on you. They just people. They just regular people. So I was like, all right, cool. That's cool. But I used to be like either hear from the grapevine or people would like come up and ask me like, are you gay?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, like why?
Because I brush my teeth.
Because I speak soft or because I'm not like, aggressive and stuff like this. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I feel like nowadays, things are more like liberal, if you can say. Things are more liberal now, so people are more like, it's so many labels, so many different labels for people now. But like, I feel like when we were like growing up as teenagers and stuff, there wasn't a lot of labels. It was just like you were this way, you were that way. It was no politically correct. It was just like you were just living. And I feel like the internet, social media, outreach, the people that you are able to touch now, like this is why, like we moved into that new little section in life is because of social, not even social media, just the internet.
Everybody's trying to find their identity and everybody's trying to like galvanize and have a rights. They want rights for everything now. Like, it started with rights for pets and then now it's rights for this, now it's rights for that. Yeah. I see that.
Like that inclusivity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess tough too. I'm thinking now it's like, I feel like sometimes women look at men in a bad light because it's easier for women to accept, or it was easier for women to accept it than it was for men. And I feel like that is kind of just like the trauma of growing up and being a man. Being a man. So when you are surrounded around that, it's kind of just like, especially if you weren't surrounded by it growing up, or you like didn't have parents that kind of were like open to it, or didn't say like, that's bad or that's wrong. It was just like, now it's like you either gonna still have that perception of like, the LGBTQ community, or you're more open to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like it's probably harder for men to kind of be open to it than it is for women.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. What about like in sports, like man sports especially?
I feel like that goes to say like that speaks really for what I just said too, because it's like if it was, let's say like men and women were on an equal playing field with regard to how like skill level, I feel like women are going to be more open to it. Men and just like our culture growing up, it's just like it doesn't.
Well, you see that now. Even I think in basketball, the WNBA, there's out women who are lesbian, and it's just like, all right,
never
cool.
a problem. Yeah, it's cool.
It's kind of like expected because they play a sport that's very tied to masculinity, even basketball. You know what I'm saying? So if they're playing basketball and taking it serious, then they should be like masculine.
But
so
that's
like,
I kind of feel like that's become culture for women's basketball. It's become I feel like it's become culture, and now, because I remember back during the first like women's dream team, like a lot of those women were going out of their way to show how feminine they were, like modeling and stuff like that. And I feel like after that, women became more comfortable, and it's like, okay, well, this goes on in women's basketball. And it's not something that's being swept under the rug. Everybody knows. But I feel like in men's sports, especially in a sport like football, it's like, bro, it's 60 of us, 65 of us, 52 of us. 100 though. It's just
Why do
like,
you think it's so different?
why is that important?
Why do you think it's different in like in women's sports where it's like more so accepted?
Because a lot of times in certain women's sports, it's like almost culture now. It's like in men's sports, it's like, why is that important? Like, why is that important? Like,
I don't even think it's a why is that important.
For you to come out and be like, oh, I'm this. Why is it important? You get what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I definitely feel like it's like a how we're raised type thing.
It's like you're gonna assume when you see like women's sports, like women's basketball, you're gonna assume anyway. Like, oh, Brittany Garner, like, okay, I know she like winning. You gonna assume that.
Yeah.
But it's like men's sports, you're not gonna assume, oh, Michael Sam, oh, I know he likes me.
Because we're men, and you have to be a man, and like the whole like the grooming of a man, whether you play sports or not, is not like directed towards being have like any feminine traits. So it's like you're in a masculine sport. Well, I mean, you could say women's basketball is directed towards being a masculine sport, but everybody's just like, I feel like the upbringing of being a woman is just like they're going to be more open to like somebody being.
Well, women are more open in regardless, like if they play sports or not. You can get a bunch of women, they can go in the dressing room together and change. They don't even have to know each other. Just change clothes. But it's just like, even in Turkey, you go to Turkey, in a lot of dressing rooms, they're like compartments. So you can't. I remember I was coming out of the gym and I had a towel in front of me, and like I was surrounded by some security and cops, and it's like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I'm in the gym. We can talk about the transgender sports. That's what I want to get to.
The what?
Transgenders in sports, like.
So ask your question.
So I want to touch on this too. Like, we see a lot of transgender women trying to compete in women's sports, and they're actually winning. How many transgender men try to enter men's sports? Have you heard of it yet, or?
Hold on, well,
You have transgender women trying to enter women's sports. How many transgender men have you seen trying to enter men's sports? Because right now it just seems like transgender women are trying to enter women's sports.
Well, I think it's like
that's the thing for them.
I think it's like a barriers of entry type of thing, where it's just like you'll never see transgender men trying to enter men's sports because you're not capable. It's like I feel like that simple. It was like if they could, they would.
If I see that and that's when I'll be like, okay, now this right here is even. But you can't have like.
You can't have Joanna Man, and then you can't get the opposite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like.
And that's where, I'm sorry, but like that's where, for me, I don't agree with that.
That boy said, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. If you, it's like I throw a wig on and I'm like, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna be playing the WNBA.
They don't even throw the wigs on anymore. They keep the ball fades. That's it, right?
To me,
it's just unfair.
To me, it's crazy that people have a problem with that. It's just like.
What is the argument that people make when they're defending?
Because they say they identify as a woman, so they should be a woman in this women's sport. But you weren't born.
That's the only argument. Do they have anything else?
I think that's like the biggest.
But I'm like, I was like, if you gonna do that, take away the 9th grade team. That's why you got a B squad when you got to go to a bigger school, because the 9th graders aren't ready to play with these older kids. So
you want to make it a group of its own, like Trans Women League of
it would have to be. It would have to be.
No, I would agree with that. It would have to be because like some shit, the world's not fair, blah 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 blah. But some shit is just like
it's not you're not.
It doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't.
You're not a race of people.
Right.
That's one thing too. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
You're not a race of people. It's not like you're a black guy. You're trying to integrate this college, the University of Alabama.
Yeah, it's
like
not
that situation.
There's a hormone like argument that they make in terms of like the case. I guess like they've lowered their, and I may be talking out my ass right now, but I know there's like a hormone reasoning that they use, and like now that they maybe like if the testosterone levels are the same, then
look,
why can't they compete?
So Mike Tyson can be like,
Nah.
I've done everything in my life. I'm gonna be a woman now, and I'm gonna go compete in women's UFC.
That's the thing. If he goes through a transgender change and his testosterone levels are the same as like all these other women.
So they say that that's gonna affect his power. It's gonna affect his
that's what they're saying.
speed. I mean, shit, because that's what we're talking about. Like, that's,
Yeah.
If that's the case, then maybe. But nah, that UFC example, a couple months
Any
back,
type of individual sport.
it was no competition at all.
Any type of individual sport. I'm like, nah. Now, if you want to go like high school football or like things like that where you can integrate with, you know what I'm saying? Like women can play high school football.
Yeah.
A lot of times girls are actually the best ones on teams when it comes to Pop Warner football.
Yeah,
because they're stronger.
It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like when you got individual sports, track and field and swimming and stuff like, it's just like, no.
And I side with the people that are actually like competing, the women that are actually competing. I've never seen a situation where the women that are competing that are okay with it.
Wrestling, no.
It's like, fuck what society thinks and what y'all think. It's just like, what are the people that think that are actually, these women that are actually competing, like how fair do they think that is?
Yeah, man. I feel like some things are just like black and white. And it just is what it is.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know.
Shit black and white nowadays. This is 2023. Wake up.
It might be the fucking new color.
Yeah.
Everything is merged. Everything's trying to just merge into one, you know?
Yes. That's why it's like that in men's sports. It's like, oh boy, taking those pictures and videos and putting them on OnlyFans. It's like, bruh, okay, well, I mean, if you like that, that's cool, but don't be doing shit like that. That's crazy.
For me, it starts before, the problem isn't men's sports. It starts when you grow, like, the grooming of growing up as a man. I don't think it's like men's sports, like, is the problem. I feel like it's being groomed and growing up as a man and then going into, like, a men's sport, which is obviously already, like, very, very, like, masculine and, you know, but I don't think the problem is, like, because I would never fault, even though, like, you're still in the wrong, I would never fault, like being gay not being accepted in men's sports. It's not the fault of men's sports and like that culture. It's the culture of being a man and having to be masculine. And then you go into something that's very, you know, so it's like,
I feel like
it's combative.
if you are, let's say Dwight Howard, not saying he is, but I'm saying like, if you are, and let's say you tell your friends know, and it's just like, okay, your friends know, woo-doo-woo-doo-woo. So it's not something that, you know, if something come out about you, I'm not gonna pick at you for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I didn't know.
You gonna make jokes, Tim. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, of course I don't make jokes, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna like try to drag you through the mud. Like, oh man, why you? It's like, nah, it's just like.
Which is interesting because if you look at the examples that we've had in the recent years, like Michael Sam's, the constant rumors. Let's be honest. There's the constant rumors of what's his name?
Who's the
Dwight Howard.
Who's that? The other defensive end that just came out.
The white guy?
Yeah, white guy.
I forgot his name.
There's a.
He played for the Raiders.
Yeah, played for the Raiders.
Yeah.
But there's no big like backlash. There's no big. You would think there'd be like this big response, like get him out of the NFL and stuff like this. But there's none of that. I haven't heard of any.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think there was any backlash from Michael Sam's?
Well, I think Michael Sam's case was different because he was all on the draft stick and caking him on his mouth.
Yeah, he was just being
like,
flagrant
bro,
with it.
come on, bro.
Don't be flagrant with it. Don't be flamboyant.
Yeah.
You know.
One thing is too is just like why not? If I'm playing devil's advocate,
That's
why
true.
not?
No,
But it's
I
like
was
you
thinking
see-
about
you
that.
see
Like,
other
why
guys
can't
on the draft.
That's how I feel.
But I'm saying you see other guys doing draft, they're not sticking cake in their girlfriend's mouth and stuff like that.
What I'm saying though, just like if a woman did it, it's not a problem.
But they're not.
That's the thing. I don't know if I can say that.
But I'm telling you, like you didn't see that from nobody else in that draft. I watched the draft.
Well, you didn't.
You don't watch the women's. You don't watch the WNBA draft, so you have no idea what.
Oh yeah, but
Oh, he was sticking cake in his boyfriend's mouth?
Yeah. But it's like WNBA, bro. That's how I said it's an expectation. You already expect it. It's not like something that's gonna be like, why?
Yeah.
You expect it. It's expected.
Exactly, it's expected. So when you see niggas sticking cake in another man's mouth,
That's not expected.
exactly.
You think maybe
So is that
Not
on them
so
or
aggressively,
is that
and not
on-
the man.
Is that on
He
us?
was like some little ice skater looking dude. He was.
Is that on them or is that on us for viewing it how we view it? It's like, oh, I get that out of here.
That's on society.
Yeah.
That's on society. That's on society. How do we respond?
This boy said,
How do we respond when Dennis Rodman was doing all his shenanigans with the
It was
dresses
Dennis
and
Rodman,
stuff?
like, because back then it was like, you know,
That was
back
different.
then when you were a star in a sports league, you were a real star. You had a certain what you call it, persona, and nobody knew who you were for real. All we saw was what we saw on TV. It wouldn't no go on Instagram and see his personal life. It's like you saw him with Madonna. You saw every time you saw him, it was cameras flashing.
Okay.
It was in an NBA game, so it wasn't like you get to see what he do behind closed doors. And I feel like now you get to see all this stuff.
Yeah, but you think he was put on a show? You think that was who he really was?
That's who he was.
Yeah.
It was part show and part who he was.
So that would be
You
more
thought it was a
accept-
show?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, okay.
Like, that would be more accepted even so now because you're seeing him do all of this stuff.
That
and
was
then-
like some rock star shit though. It wasn't really like LGBTQ.
Yeah.
It felt like that was more so
that was
like
he was like
it was already something that was like
Yeah.
it was already something that was existed in our society, the rock star. And it's like we got a rock star in sports now.
So we could we have a Dennis Rodman-esque figure in the sports world today?
100%.
Yeah, but I
But
feel
what
like
would that mean? What would that say about that person?
I think it would be looked at as a cool thing versus like I don't know, the LGBTQ community is kind of like still like gaining traction in
could
sports.
we? Yes, but I feel like Dennis Rodman was unique in a sense to where there's never going to be another Dennis Rodman
Yeah,
because
that
he
was-
wasn't representing the no community. He was representing Dennis Rodman. He was going in games, slapping dudes on the ass, getting technical fouls, and ripping his jersey off. It's like he wasn't representing the community; he was representing him, and he would pretty much party with everybody.
Dennis Rodman wasn't kissing guys though.
No, he woke up, put on a wedding dress, married himself. It's just like nobody's going to duplicate that.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Yeah, I don't know what I like.
That's
That he really is one of a kind.
I mean, that's my question. Was he trying to represent a community that was shunned and that was in the black? Or
I feel like he was expressive.
that would be the LGBT community.
I feel like he was expressive. I feel like Little Richard was representing that community. I feel like Dennis Rodman was expressive though. I feel
Prince?
like androgynous.
Androgynous.
Like he's a gender fluid.
Dudes, yeah, he just like to dress up. I guess he was an artist.
Why-
I'm okay.
Well, like if you play devil's advocate, why do you think Dennis Rodman would be part of like the LGBTQ community? Besides like maybe painting his nails.
I mean, yeah, just the optics of it all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In my opinion, just the optics. Not saying that he is or this is not that or diminishing any type of group, but in this space, especially in this day and age, like we even give backlash to fashion trends. Like when the skirts came out, A$AP Rocky was wearing a skirt, and some of the basketball players started wearing skirts. You're like, yo, what is that? Like, why y'all doing that? Russell Westbrook,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
certain stuff I'm not gonna get with. If it's not like a cultural thing, if I'm Scottish, yeah.
Way to
But
kill
it's
black
not,
white.
yeah. But if it's not a cultural thing, it's just like the purses and the bro. It's like certain things women. Why you think women carry purses? Because a lot of their clothes don't have pockets. It's like that's why they have purses. So
That's
it's just
true.
like let them have it.
But when
In
a
my
man
opinion.
carries a purse, is that supposed to be cool or is that?
Do you
I've heard a
need
lot of
one?
people say that a lot of straight men are now copying gay fashion, and that honestly made me very.
But what's gay fashion?
I don't know.
Cross dressing.
I think gay fashion is cross dressing in a way, where it's like
That's
the shorter shorts. It's like
But I mean, that's a lot of that shit came from like rock people.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be gay fashion. That would be more trans, no? Because you're cross dressing.
let me see, what is gay fashion? I feel like more gay fashion is like the jeans that stop like having more of your ankle out.
That's
You know
Italian.
what?
That's
That
Italian
boy said
brand.
not
You
me.
know what?
It's Italian.
Italian.
It's Italian.
That's one thing I can't agree on the gay fashion thing because I feel like fashion is fashion. I don't
Fashion
feel
is
like there. Yeah,
fashion is
there-
But like
there's
like they say short shorts is gay fashion.
I feel like short. I feel like a lot of that stuff is, you know, like I said, we make trends.
Yeah.
Like African Americans make stuff trendy.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, in the community, it's like the shorts that come above the knee, that's more European.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't travel. Yeah, so it's just like, it makes sense to have shorts. It looks, to me, I don't know if it's because I'm older now, but it looks sloppy to have long jorts on that come down here. It's just like, bro, what, like, you look like a pre-pan.
There isn't such thing as gay fashion, though, no?
I think gay fashion, or
so.
whenever you, so I think it comes back to what we were trying to talk about before. Like back in the day, you used to say stuff is gay. Like what did that mean? I think it meant opposite of masculine in any sense, you know, in any sense of the word. Like if that was opposite of masculine, if that was opposite of tough, then it's gay. Whether it's funny, whether it's something serious or not. You think with the way the world is going, that ultimately we will have more out people in the NFL and the NBA, and it's going to be accepted? Will the game change?
I feel like at this point, it really don't matter no more.
Yeah. I think it depends also like how like it's presented too, because I feel like you have to present things tastefully to society, which sucks, but it's just like you have to present it tastefully.
Sensitive.
Well, I mean,
yeah, very sensitive. We're still very sensitive as society, and it's just like you can't do it with no shit. We're just like you making out like you just that's not, people aren't gonna handle.
Well, if you look at shows on like, if you look at all those Netflix shows, especially like teenage shows, it's like they represent everybody in those shows, and it's just like, and you go 9 times out of 10 see like a same-sex couple kissing or like growing up and talking about these things on all these shows, like on all these Netflix and Disney and
Gender's crazy.
yeah, who like you see this stuff. I just feel like it's just become the norm, and it's okay. You know, it's okay. To each his own, but I just feel like, you know, to each his own.
Yeah.
Don't forget about, you know, you do have like women who have outlooks. You do have men who have different outlooks. I'm not saying any of our outlooks are wrong or right. It's just that we have our opinions, you have your opinions, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Is there a lighter note today? Because even the Michael Orr situation is kind of crazy.
I know what I mean saying about that.
I don't know because I feel like there's different parts of the situation, because it's just like, for me, it's like, supposedly Buddy sold his company for like 15 mil, so it's like, does Michael Orr need money out there?
I don't want to touch on that.
You don't want to touch on what?
I'm not going to touch on it because I know some people involved.
Oh, you know some people involved?
Yeah.
Oh, he too close.
Yeah, I know some people involved. Like the executive producer.
Oh yeah, because even the show, which is funny, because I always said, like after I watched it and like kind of did research, and you hear, but it's like, they had this man like, like he couldn't read. Like, hey, but he could read and write.
And after the movie came out, he's like, this is false. This is not how it was.
Bro, he's nothing like that.
And he's nothing, obviously he's
And
nothing
he's
like
obviously
that.
nothing like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy is Twitter trying to take Sandra Bullock's Oscar away. I'm like, bro, leave that lady alone. Leave Sandra Bullock alone.
She can't, I mean, she's not at fault. She's acting.
They try to give it to old girl from Precious. They said give, because she was up for it too. They're like, hey, give her the Oscar.
Yo.
Oh boy, they are on Sandra Bullock's head.
Yeah, but she's not at fault.
No, she's not.
Why she gotta be at fault? She's an actress. She's just doing a movie that someone's like, oh, play this movie part. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's true or not. It's a movie part. Sandra Bullock.
I was trying to think what connection she had to somebody. I don't
She
know.
got no connections to nobody in the story.
It's her or Julia Roberts. Like somebody saved her life. I don't know who, Jesse Jackson or Barack Obama's dad or something.
So
something.
she really down? She really down?
Yeah.
If you can't get into it much, my opinion on like adoption is I wouldn't say I find it weird, but I'm not a big fan of like, I guess, what is it, transracial adoption. I've never been a big fan of it at all. And I remember I bring up this argument a lot now because like they did research, and this thing is like transracial adoption paradox, and it's like a lot of minorities that are raised in these houses of just like of white families that have like certain privileges, where it's like once you leave that home, your perception of the world is totally different, and now you're not awarded these privileges and you're not looked at the same way. It's just like, if you do adopt, you need to be very woke as to who it, like, whatever culture it is that you're adopting. It's just like, most people don't do that.
Right.
Most people don't do that. Sometimes you may see like that, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it gets a little funny with that adoption thing.
Well, then because you grow up, like, maybe what you were trying to say is, you're black, or you come from Africa, you come from Asia,
India,
you come to the States, for example, and you're growing up in this white family, but you got a bulletproof vest on while you're growing up, you got a roof over your head, you got blinders.
Yeah.
So when you get out in the real world, now you realize how the world really looks at you, and you're like, wait, hold up, my family then? Well, yeah, that's your family.
Yeah,
you know?
that's your family, but the world don't see you how
The
your
world
family,
don't- exactly.
how your family
Yeah.
is.
Exactly. I was in a situation like that growing up.
You were adopted?
No, I had a chance to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was it called that Michael Orr had? It was
Convertatorship.
Yeah.
Convertatorship.
Well, you know, a lot of times, especially down south, a lot of white families adopt promising football players, so they can have a better chance of going to college. It's a thing.
I'm not saying it's not, but I
It's
don't
a
know
real thing.
I don't know. I don't know.
I went through this situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel
Right.
like I'm on the fence, because I feel like sometimes it could be a really great opportunity for people to get out the hood, get out a certain situation. But if that's going to happen, then I think the families need to be in contact and need to have documentation, understanding that, okay, these are my new legal guardians, but this is still my mother, or this is still my father. You know?
I think it depends on the.
But when you sign this, whatever the hell this thing is, that's a totally different thing. Now you signing your rights, your name, image, likeness to some people that you don't even really know about, but they know about you. And they know what they can do with your situation.
And they kind of feel like they're protecting you because you're not going to be smart enough to handle
that's
your money.
not that. I don't agree with that.
That's why the Britney Spears parents did that.
Mhm.
One thing getting
A
into
lot
that
of
conservatorship is like, why now? Like how it's been a long
Oh,
time.
so
You said why now for
Yeah.
Mike Orr?
Yeah.
Well, legal shit always.
It's legal
Yeah,
stuff, and you
But
got
it just came up 6 months ago. It's like, bro,
But you
this
got to think,
lawsuit
bro.
being now.
He's retired, bro. So you know he might need some residuals.
100%.
Well,
Well, just
that-
like, but that it looks bad to me.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
that's
It's just
one.
like,
But then two, the movie's not that. The movie came out only a few years ago,
only a few years ago.
and
What year was that?
That movie came out.
That came to this shit, bro.
that's in like
That's high school.
2010, 2011.
2011. Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Okay, well,
For me, it's like, bro,
10 years ago.
it looks bad now, cause it's like, bro, you out the league now. The movie came out mad long ago. It's like, I don't
Well,
know what's
you
going
never-
on situation wise, but to me it just looks odd.
You never know what's going on in his life. Like,
True.
Somebody might have reached out or.
Okay, but two, the question could also be, how fast are you supposed to see those returns on movie revenues and stuff like that? Because, like, for example, if you do a commercial, or if you do a movie, like I shot something a couple months ago, it usually takes like 3 months for you to get that money.
He's not getting any royalties from that.
He's not getting anything, but how long did it take for him to realize that? It could have taken him a long time to
Well,
realize that.
it might not be. Whoever's dealing with his money might say, "Look, you're owed this, and we need to go get it." Just like you're not in the league no more. You know, you don't have this money coming in, but I did some numbers
Some
searching,
research,
and
some
you're
research.
owed this.
Nah, he's not owed it because the documents say that he doesn't get any royalties.
Doesn't get any royalties, but he's like, okay, well,
Well, you
the
should be.
family who didn't adopt you, who said they adopted you, they're getting this.
Right.
So you should be getting this,
Yeah,
or you should have this.
Yeah, to me it's just the timing is
yeah,
odd.
it's bad.
The
It's
timing
bad
is
news
odd.
bears.
Because I would love to side with him, but the timing is just mad weird.
So you think he's doing it in spite of?
That's the thing. It's just like, bro, if you were chasing royalty, and that's the thing. I don't know how involved the family was with the movie, and like, is it the family? Is it the family that should be making sure that he's getting royalties from the movie, like, or is that the movie production? Because just like, bro, it seems like he's coming after the wrong people. It's like, if the problem is
it would be
royalties,
it would be the family. Because if they signed if they took all of his rights, image, likeness, name, image, likeness, then they're the ones that are ultimately stealing money from him.
I'm sure it's his lawyers going after.
The lawyers going after the people, going after the family.
I'm wondering too, just like how much money are we talking about? for
Millions.
oil shit from them?
250. They made like 250 million.
And if you remember in the movie, the dad owned a bunch of.
Oh yeah, they were already
They're already well off.
Yeah, but that's gonna be like, okay, that's a check. He gets to the league. That's a check. There's a movie. We
got Slap over here with all the information.
Yeah, right.
Tell us.
Bar against the stove.
Bar against the stove.
We don't gotta unpack that too much, but I mean.
But yeah, for me, it's like I don't like the whole transracial adoption.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So
I
it's
don't
a
like
little
the
bit
idea
messy,
of that.
for sure.
How do you feel about transracial adoption? Because every time I see it, I'm just like,
I get cringe off the UNICEF stuff, like
the what?
the UNICEF, like going out to pick kids out of Kenya and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, they don't need you. Like, they're happy enough.
Yeah.
In their reality, that's what they get. That's what they got. You're only showing them something shiny, and they're like, oh, okay, something shiny. Now their reality changes. But I don't think tribal kids and wherever tribes may be are like thinking to themselves, oh, I wish I lived in a big house with the grass.
No.
You know, that's what I kind of get
They should
mixed
actually
up with.
sit down with these families and do like therapy sessions, because I feel like some of it is kind of just like the reasoning for it isn't always.
Well, you know, I mean, usually going out and picking these kids out of the.
But shit, Angelina Jolie went to Spelman with her daughter. Went to Spelman, went on campus with her. Cause you know her and Brad Pitt adopted a couple of black kids, I think.
Yeah, like why? Like you said, like what's the reason behind it? There's a ton of orphanages in the USA that have kids of your color. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember I was reading an article where this lady, this white lady got a biracial daughter, and they stopped her on the plane, and she's suing them because they thought she was child trafficking. They didn't think her daughter was hers. But it's just like, I don't know how I feel about it, man.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're doing it for the right reasons, yeah. But if you're doing it for reasons that I've heard girls say, like, oh, I want to go to Africa and I want to go get a child. I've heard this multiple times.
Me too.
And I want to turn him into a basketball player so he can help his family.
You see, I hear that
It's
shit all
just
the time.
like-
Just like, oh, but like you like, what is it? The whole romanticizing black children. It's just like, bro, what is that? Is some weird shit to me.
It happens in the States all the time.
That is some weird shit. It's like, bro, for me, it's like, and I don't want to shit nobody, but like, let me not say anybody specifically, but like, why can't you just donate money and support them through like
You didn't see
schools and food, etc.
There's a documentary on Netflix about rich people in Britain adopting these kids from Africa. It was a story about it where they're basically slaves, and they bring them in and they raise them from the time they're kids to clean their house and stuff. And one of the girls happened to escape, and they made a biopic on her. You never seen it?
Tough.
I gotta find it.
You seen it?
No.
I gotta find it.
Sound tough though.
It's like this group of people in Africa where they're like being sold to slavery,
Yeah.
and they're ended up in the UK in these rich families, and they're becoming like maids and butlers.
So it's real, still slave trade happening.
Yeah,
You know what? Crazy. I don't know if I told you about this, but this shit really got me thinking. I got marked by aliens because I was out here talking shit. Because bro, I got this little it looks like a marker, and I can't get this shit off. Bro, literally can't get this shit off. I think aliens came in.
They came in and
marked
abducted you? And
Yeah.
marked you? Why?
Oh, this nigga talking shit. Hey, mark them, and they gonna come down one day and be like, hey, if you got a mark in your hand, it's over for you. And I'm gonna look down.
How do you think they put it on your arm, on your hand? Just put like a laser thing, or they just
That's
touch
some
you?
lasers. That's
They
some
touched
new
you, or-
technology shit.
Wow.
So yeah, maybe.
You don't feel weird or nothing like that? You don't feel connected?
I feel connected.
You feel connected now
I feel
to
connected.
people? All right.
I feel connected. I got that thirst,
Your third
that
eye.
sixth sense now. I've been hearing people talking to me.
he's been calling me.
He's been calling me, B.
Go to Jay up there. That's that shit came from that
After 30, right?
Ooh.
Is it weird to not feel your age? Like, is it weird to feel younger? Like, I'm 34 right now. I don't feel 34, but what is feeling 34? And is it irresponsible to feel younger? Like, I wake up and I'm just like, I feel great. Like, I want to run all the time. Every time I'm at practice, I'm like, yo, y'all not seeing me.
Grow up on you.
I feel like it's funny. I feel like it depends on the type of life you live in. It's just like, you got to think, before I went to college, I was living a lifestyle where I felt like I was in my late 20s, but I was 17, 18 years old.
And that's the thing, in that regard, I feel like I'm a late bloomer. Like when I was in college, I was kind of just like going through the motions. I didn't really know anything. Like I didn't understand a lot of shit.
Now you
I didn't speak. When I came to Europe, I like blossomed.
Well,
I started to speak more. I started to understand things more. Traveling, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
where I'm going.
Experiences, relationships.
That's where I'm going with it. Like, I feel like as athletes, we've been playing ball our whole lives, and through our entire 20s, it's just like, you know, we've been partying and stuff, but not on the level that other people have. It's like we party, but we actually worked. We in the weight room. We trying to eat right. We trying to do this, that, and this. So by the time we get in our 30s and football starts to kind of dwindle, you didn't live your whole 20s getting fucked up and not doing
not
that.
That's.
I feel like it's part of it because you got people who live their whole 20s and their whole 20s they're fucking partying and getting fucked up. So by the time they get in their 30s, they got health problems.
True.
They just messed up. True. And they can't really enjoy it because they took their whole 20s and threw that shit in the garbage.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it.
Forever childish.
That's how you live?
Honestly, I feel like you should. And one thing too is like, bro, a lot of people, you talk to people back home, it's like, how often do they vacation? It's like, I feel like our lifestyle is just like so different sometimes, it's hard to even like relate, but like how often do you kind of just like leave your state, or for us, leave your country? It's like very often. We leave very often. There's people like, the average amount of times people holiday is probably like 1 to 2 times a year in America. So it's like, bro, when you have conversations with people back home, it's like, we're not talking about the same lifestyle.
We create our stress.
Yeah, we honestly do.
We create our own stress. And it's like, you know, I feel like because of that, and all the places I traveled and stuff like that, I'm just like, you know, I go back home and I see my friends getting older, and, you know, they're having these like lives that you're supposed to have, with, you know, wife, kids.
Supposed to have.
Yeah, the society's like wife, kids, and stuff like that. But it's just like, you see me living a certain way, and you're saying, oh, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. But the real question is, like, are you happy?
It's getting better though. I feel like a lot of people are starting to realize, just like, what the fuck do I need all this money to spend it at 60, 65? I feel like our generation is getting a lot better with that. And I'm speaking to like people in America, but like people are definitely traveling more than they used to, and getting away from like that whole like, when I'm 50, 60, sit on this money.
But it's no, as you get older, it's like when you 18, you'll be talking to a 26-year-old, and a 26-year-old, you'll be like, man, you old as hell. But then the 26-year-old, I tell the 30-year-old, man, you old as hell. It's just like, bro, the older you get, the less stupid you are. Like the older you get, if you I don't want to say less stupid, but if you go back and look at your first Facebook pictures, look at your first Instagram pictures, and look at you today, and you'll see the growth. And you like, do I want to be that person, or do I want to be that person? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to be the person that you are today, because your style gets better, your logic gets better as you get older. And it's like your 30s, you're just a smarter 20-year-old. That's all.
Yeah. What do you mean by feeling young?
You want to do shit.
Yeah, I want
like
to
just moving.
I want to move. I want to do stuff. I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to have to do things. You know what I'm saying? I want to do things because I want to do it and I want to have fun. Like, I think the word fun, it starts to lose its meaning or changes its meaning as we get older. Like, fun when we're younger, it means freedom.
Yeah.
Fun, when we get older, it means like
I clean the house
a
on
little,
Sunday.
when you, after you've done all your duties and shit like that. It's like, what if my duties are fun? Like, what if my priorities are, I want to be fun? So I don't know. I have this feeling like right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I worked corporate coming out of school for a few years, and I, transitioned over to Europe, and then my life became more like flexible.
Yeah.
And I think a lot like, should I go back to that corporate structure? Is that grown up? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing at 34? Or can I continue to create and do things that are like more,
I feel
dynamic?
I feel like right now, if you really sit back and like look at the bigger picture, you kind of living your dream, or you are living your dream. I know sometimes I get in my feel. I'm like, damn, I should be home. I should be spending time with my family. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm doing something that nobody else in my family's doing, and maybe it took me to do it.
Right.
But it's like, I feel like I'm living a life that is fulfilling. Like, I get to do something I love every day. I'm involved in something I love, and then I'm good at it.
Right.
That's the thing about it. It's just like I tell people all the time. I went from walking in my parents' room and my dad watching college football, and I'm looking at one of the guys I used to play against in high school to like, man, I'm way better than him. And my dad saying, well, his ass is on TV, and your ass is right here talking about how much better you are than him. I went from that to damn near traveling the world before 35. And it's just like, it's because I set out to do something, and it hasn't been easy, but I've been consistent with it.
Right.
And I feel like, that being able to do something you love every day, I feel like it keeps you young, because, you're around a younger generation. You get to see things from another perspective. So I feel like that's the beauty of getting old in this business.
Yeah.
Getting older in this business.
Put a new social construct on like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Because like 20s, what's the social construct now in 20s, and what do you think the social construct on 20s should be? So like the social construct on 20s is for, I guess, what do people say, like getting your life together and
deciding what you want to do.
Yeah. 30s is like marriage, starting having the kids,
putting the building blocks
together. 40s, you should have all your shit together. You should already have, started, or
career,
like retirement fund should kind of already be there.
Time is relative.
50s getting ready for retirement.
60s retirement.
Time is relative.
Well, I'm just saying though, that's the social construct on 20.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard to say time is relative. It's just like, if you come from it like...
Well, time is relative, but I want you to put like your own social construct on 20s, 30s.
Well, I'm a realist, and I know a lot of men in my family don't live to be 60, 75. So it's just like, I'm working with my time between now and 75. I know a lot of men in my family don't get to live to see 75. Yeah. So it's just like, I'm a realist in that sense, and I know some people age like milk, some people age like water. So I feel like I'm not one of those people that age fast. I'm a late boomer, I think, and I feel like I really can't put my life on a social construct, because it's never what it's been.
Yeah.
It's like, you're supposed to graduate college at what? 21. I graduated at 25, but I also have 2 masters. Some guys go to college and never fucking graduate, but they were supposed to graduate at 21. Yeah. I went late and graduated at 25. They got my shit.
I would say though, extend like the social construct on 20s. I would say expand that to your 30s.
I would say expand that shit nowadays to. So I would say the 20s you can compartmentalize. I think 20 you're in school, like to 25.
Yeah.
It's like learning.
Yeah.
Learning, maybe even to like 26, 27. And when you get from like 27 to 40 or 45, because I'm meeting some people out there on the streets, they 40, 45, and it's like, I hope I'm not you in 10 years, 5 years.
Yeah,
Because they still don't got this stuff.
I feel like you can honestly extend it from maybe like
Well,
20 to 40, where it's just like from
sounds-
20 to 40, you should be learning, making connections, and trying it, and like within that range, like
Yeah, that's
trying
broad,
to figure out,
broader.
yeah, make it broader.
Yeah, yeah,
Where it's just
broader.
like from 20 to 40, you should be learning, making connections, and really trying to figure out what it is that you want to do that
Yeah.
can take you to where you
I
want.
like that because then you get into like Europe, because a lot of people in Europe, they don't even go to college.
Yeah.
Like when I first met someone that was my age, 23, 22 in Europe, and they're like, I have my own spot, I'm working full time. Like, you dumb, because you didn't go to college.
Exactly.
But that's not, they don't mean they're dumb, they just started working. So yeah, that could be more broad.
I like
you know?
that 20 to 40
20 to
range,
40,
and just
yeah.
learn, make
Definitely up to
connections.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean nowadays you gotta think too, like being 26. When I was 26, I don't remember feeling like a little kid. Like I don't remember feeling like young, wild, and free. I remember feeling 26.
What does that mean though?
It means like
20, young, wild, and free.
it
should be young,
it
wild, and
means
free.
like, let's say I'm 26, but like 26-year-olds now, it's just like they're very different. Or like when my oldest brother was 26 compared to when I was 26, it just looked different.
That might just be like you said, relativity too. Because
Well,
when I was
different.
26, I felt
It looks different. I feel like the maturity, and I know maturity is to each his own, but I felt like certain thought patterns I had at 26.
Well, not really thought pattern. We're not talking about thought patterns. But
Yeah.
just like
No,
where
no,
you should
I
be.
mean like, if you, a lot of guys in their late 20s now, they don't feel like they're in their late 20s.
what do they feel like?
They're still in their early 20s, but it's like you're in your late 20s. I mean like a feeling like, oh, I want to get up and do shit. It's just like, mentally, you feel like you're in your early 20s, but you're in your late 20s.
Your perception of just
I
like
don't
the
feel-
age, or it's just like your perception of like where you should be in life and what you're doing.
Yeah, like that's
Because I'm
how I feel
kinda
like.
confused.
Your
I feel like-
perception, period.
Yeah, but there's got to be, like you were saying, there's got to be some type of construct that you're either agreeing with or you're going against. As far as intelligence, you can know as much as you do as you're 36 versus when you're 26 or 20. You could learn. So if you're 30, you could have more of the same intelligence as when you were 20. That means you're not growing. That means you're not developing anything.
Yeah, because
Right.
my thing is just like if you're 26 with the 26, when the 20 to 40, if you're 26 and you're 36, you should be still learning, making
Right.
connections, and like working towards something.
Right.
You can still be 26 and 36. 36, damn, I feel like I'm 20, or 20, I feel
As
like
far as the body is.
as long as you guys are kind of on that same wave with that concept of just like, are you learning? Are you constantly trying to learn about something, or just like learn about yourself? Are you making connections?
Right.
Right? And then is there something that you're working towards? Or it's just like, then you good. Like you still within the 20 to 40 range, relax. Like you good. Like some
Yeah.
people figure it out late. Like I always just like tell people all the time, like bro, I'm very blessed to have like found my passion. I know it doesn't always happen, people. I was working towards it. I found it before somebody else may find it
Mhm.
and when they're 35. But as long as you're making connections and working towards that, it's just like you can't fault somebody
Yeah.
because they're 35.
Then that might be where I'm at then. My construct is this. Maybe
Yeah.
it's broad, but what I'm used to, what I'm accustomed to understanding what the construct should be is smaller. So I'm like, damn, I'm a little bit outside that box.
Yeah.
But for me, it is about 20 to 40. As we're supposed to be developing, we're supposed to be trying to figure out what we want to do,
Yeah.
what our passions are. The passions could change from a year to a year too. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
you don't have to hurry up and do anything
Yeah.
no more. It's just like you see somebody, let's say you got a friend that got married at 25, 26, and then both of y'all turn 35, now they divorced. It's like, who won in the situation?
Right.
Nobody. It's
Yeah.
like, you divorced, I'm still single. It's like, bro, you just decided to make that move before I
You
did.
just have a
Yeah.
But
different
let's say I
experience.
get married at 35 and my marriage lasts until I'm dead. It's just like,
It's just different.
it's just like who really lost in the situation.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what people don't get. It's like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. But it's like, I can't live your life.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta live mine. Now, if I make some of the decisions you made, I'm not gonna be happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of things a lot of things that come with being an athlete or being a coach is just like, we'll never have normal lives. And it's something that you have to kind of like come to terms with. Your life will never be normal or what's considered normal. So it's just like, you know, whoever you with, they just got to understand that part and be willing to grow with you, because you're constantly growing when you're in a performance-based business. Constantly growing. There's no room to just do this. You got to always be doing this because things are changing.
We're definitely evolving too, because like I feel like we've gotten better as a society. It's just like dropping like marriage on like a certain like age. Like you don't drop we don't really drop kids on like 30s, like marriage 30s. Like I feel like we've gotten better at that, where it's just like, bro,
It's still there though.
it's still there, but it's not what it once was. The motherfuckers are not having kids like they were in their 20s.
Shit, you can't. You can't no more. You really can't.
You can.
No, you can, but you really can't because, you know, because back in the day, you know, they had way more assistance for people. They were trying to help.
That's still there too.
No, it's still there. But I'm saying, like, it's harder to get. Back in the day, it wasn't as hard to get, but but then again, it's another story.
Yeah.
But it costs a lot of different things down the line. But, like, I feel like we're getting smarter as a society, and we're saying, like, okay, especially like millennials, I'll just speak for millennials, like, okay, we can't live like our parents did.
Yeah.
We gotta kind of, you know, pace ourselves and change, because you can't be middle class anymore. Either you don't got or you have. There's no real middle class anymore.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's trying to get rich. Making 6 figures now, it's like, oh, you make 6 figures. That's not enough no more. If you think about it.
I think if you have a child, whether it's planned or unplanned, I think once that child is born, there's many products and foundations and things in place to make sure that life is sustained and everything. So the reality changes, like your whole reality.
But then on top of that,
to make it work.
you're raising a kid way different than you raised a kid before. Way different.
Yeah, but that's relative to who's raising the child. It's relative to raising the child. True. I don't think that whatever happens in the home happens in the home. There's people still old school, raising children the old school way, and those children coming out fine through school.
Yeah, but you still gotta involve like cell phones and social media and stuff like that. And it's a lot of kids that are getting sick from social media in high school. And you know.
Affirmations.
I don't know if mine is as much as an affirmation.
What's the affirmation for the week?
Mine is a frustration that I've been dealing with as a coach, so I kind of just want to like get off my chest. Like stop complaining and stop making excuses. One thing for me as a coach, and I feel like all of us can speak to it, but like pain, how you handle pain as an athlete or just as a human being going through life tells me a lot about who you are. And it's like the complaining and making excuses, it just drags on, and it's like, bro, sometimes if you come to work or if you go to practice and you're tired, don't complain about that shit. If you tired, you showed up, like, deal with that shit. If your wrist hurts at practice, deal with that shit. Don't say, damn, and verbalize it. Just like, you know, you guys have to learn to like keep it pushing. I feel like I'm kind of blessed, and we're kind of blessed to come from like tough backgrounds to where like that was never. We were always groomed to like, you know, push past shit like that. I feel like not everybody's reluctant enough to come from tough backgrounds where they're groomed to push past certain things. If you weren't, it's something you're gonna have to do on your own. But stop complaining, stop making excuses. That's my affirmation for the day. I felt that in my gut.
I felt that too. You was talking to somebody.
I was talking to
you
people.
was speaking to somebody. Should I go first or should?
It's about to be a whole other podcast.
Sermon.
Nah.
And I said,
I'll only go this. Be open to constructive criticism. criticism. I feel like not a lot of people are open to constructive criticism. And you gotta understand, whoever's giving you that constructive criticism, they care about you in some way. They may never tell you that, but they care about you and they want to see you do better. But if they're giving you constructive criticism and you're kind of like, you know, trying to push it down or trying to ignore it, like, oh man, whatever, like you just doing yourself a disservice. So I say be open to criticism and be open to opinions. Like, everybody's gonna have an opinion about you, about what you're doing, but take the good from it, dismiss the bad, and, you know, understand whoever's giving you these opinions or who's ever giving you the criticism, they care about you. They may not say it, but they do.
My affirmation for today, or my daily advice, would be when you wish for something, or when you desire something, or you want to change something in your life or your situation, then make sure you do it with conviction. Like, wish for something 1,000%, right? Don't fear that it's not going to happen. Like, when you wish for something, you want something to happen in your life, you want to change it, go change it. Wish for it hard, so that, you know, whether the universe hears you or God hears you, or it might be your family member that hears you, or a friend that helps you with your situation. Just wish for it and believe in that wish, believe in that desire, believe in that change. And I'm speaking from experience, but I can speak for myself, but I can speak for a lot of people as well. That change will definitely happen. That reality will definitely come to pass, come to fruition, and you'll realize the power that you have with your voice and your conviction. So, go hard. Anything else?
No, that's it. That's more like a daily
Rihanna,
advice.
please.
Yeah. That's more like advice.
Come on, Rihanna.
I'll come with affirmations next time. What'd he say, Rihanna, please what?
3 seconds. Yeah. Come on, Rihanna.
What you say for?
I wish she just show up right here without anything.
What you gonna say to her? She has a whole child with him.
I'm gonna say it.
Almost.
It's me and you now. I've been waiting. Think I'm gonna
Oh,
make
God.
that move.
That's not Rihanna's song.
I know, but that's what I'm gonna tell her. Tell me if you like it. It's me and you.
That's Cassie.
Yeah.
This woman has a whole child.
A whole
basically.
two child.
A whole 2 children.
I'm gonna make a move now.
That's it. Thanks for watching. Remember, comment, like, subscribe, share.
Come to PADYS.
Come to PADYS.
Come to
Shout out to PADYS Bistro. Shekers for Hevar. Hungry. All right, we're the 3 black mics.
Pause.
Real. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you next week. Have a blessed weekend and peace.
Look, after this football shit, we need to shoot this motherfucker at 8 o'clock
In the morning?
on a Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
He's about night.